Chaffetz County. I'm Tamara Suber, your Family Consumer Science Educator for NMSU and Chaffetz County Cooperative Extension. We've been talking child development all month long, and if you happen to have missed any of our previous videos, be sure to check them out on our YouTube channel. Today we're going to wrap up the series with a look at what I call the Limp Noodle, and hopefully answer a few of the questions that you may have. Do you ever wonder why children exhibit certain behaviors? Although it's not always easy to figure out what's going on inside their heads, we can usually develop several theories as to why children behave the way they do in certain environments and even in certain situations. Although there might not be a definite answer to apply to every child in every situation, there are always ways to turn behaviors around to the positive and look at situations in a new light. So is your children or your child struggling when it comes to leaving school, the sitters, or grandparents at the end of the day? Fear not, you are definitely not alone, and there are some good reasons why this may be the case. At the end of the day, the last thing any parents or caregivers want is to have a power struggle with their children. And it doesn't always feel good when we as parents or caregivers have had a long day and our children might not be so happy to see us. There are many possibilities for this behavior that come into play on any given day and in any situation. And sometimes we just may need to put on our detective hat to figure out what exactly is going on with our children. So here's some insights or maybe some ideas and reasons why we get the behaviors that we do when it comes to pickup time. So if you go to pick up your kiddo and they happen to be ignoring you, although this may be a hit to our ego, ignoring parents during pickup time may be a sign that the child has adjusted well and feels secure at school. It also may be a sign that parents, you've done your job well, and they knew all along and fully trusted that you would return at the end of the day. So although it may sting from time to time, it is okay. So if you go to pick up your kiddos and they just go to pieces. So for many, this is a natural reaction to the side of the person that the child is closest to you. And this is you as a parent. So sometimes it's hard for the children to be in a group all day long, and by the end of the day, they're super tired. Their resistance is low, and they've been dealing with all those developmental aspects that we've talked about the last couple of weeks. And you all, as parents, you are a big deal. And sometimes at the end of the day, our little ones just don't have any more emotional control. Children are also experimental. So children are driven to experiment. Acting out can be a child's way of testing a very, very interesting situation. So usually at pickup, there's two people who have set limits and rules. You as a parent and whoever's been caring for them during the day. And so the question kind of arises in our children's mind, who's in control and how do these people work together? So, although they may be unable to articulate it in words, they may ask that question through behavior and trying to figure out which one is really in charge. And then we have some children that just may procrastinate. So usually at the end of the day, we as parents are ready to be home. We've had a hard day ourselves and we're ready for the end of the day. But the child may just want you to stay a while in this place that they find so very special, just to be there together. Children live an interesting life when we're not around, and they want to be able to share that experience with you. So not being slow or difficult, they want to give you a recap of their day. And for many of our children, they're not at a full verbal report capacity yet. And this is the way that they can share their day with you and exactly how special it is and what they did. Ordinarily, the great thing about having a toddler is watching them develop their sense of self and learning about the world around them. However, This includes the discovery that they also have a will of their own. And where there's a will, there's also a won't. But the good news is resistance is normal. That is your kid gaining confidence, that is learning independence, and that is part of figuring out who they are. There's also ways and tricks to get them and guide them into a more cooperative attitude. But realize saying no and being independent isn't always a bad thing. A lot of times, those children grow up to be our leaders, our business CEOs, our entrepreneurs, those that are in charge and setting a standard for what they want and what they believe in life. So, children are very complex human beings. They are instinctive social scientists at every age. So, they use their behavior to experiment with how the world of people work, and they try to find where they fit into that world. In the process, they can both delight us and maybe push a few of those buttons that we may have. But there are some tips and tricks to getting around these circumstances. Observe carefully and be sensitive to their needs. Our children want to be heard and understood. So allow time to communicate those needs with you. Don't plan anything right away when leaving the care setting, whether it be the school or the child care center or grandparents' house. Give yourself some extra time and don't set anything right away. This allows us to not be in a rush and stress during pickup time. And then that way, if our kids want to hang out or show us something throughout the day, we're not trying to push them out the door while they're trying to communicate what they want. Promote routines. So consistency makes children feel secure. And having the same routine at pickup, so whether it's picking up at the same time, saying goodbye to their friends a certain way every day, going through the same steps of the process helps our children learn what's expected of them. And the other thing is to gain some insight. So tap into their imagination and gain some insight into what they are facing on a daily basis that may be triggering the things that we're seeing during pickup. As always, you can give us a call here in the office with any questions that may arise. We will see you next month with a brand new series.